day, ladies and gentlemen, boys and berries. Welcome to Synergy Cafe. This is your host and MC, Master of Ceremonies, or Massacre of Ceremonies. My name is Brad. I go by MagicBrad on the internet, so you don't get confused with the Brents and the Bryans and the other Brads out there. So I've got a fun guest on today. He's a military guy, and we're going to talk a little bit about leadership. This is who it is. His name is OAKLAND McCULLOCH, and he's your leadership legacy. So this is going to be a lot of fun because sometimes people think leadership is like ordering people around. And I don't think that's what it is. But I'm going to go I'm going to go find the professional because he knows what's going down. And his name is OAKLAND. He's in there somewhere. You there? Come on up.
How you doing, Brad?
Well, hello there. How's your world?
It's going really well today.
That's right. And you're not from up here in the Northland. You're down there south somewhere, aren't you?
Well, you know, I grew up in Northern Illinois, so I know what you guys are going through. That's why I live in Florida.
Okay, I get it. Very mild here right now, actually. There's no snow on the ground. It's kind of bizarre. We got that global warming thing happen, you know?
Yeah, or something like that.
That's what they claim. What the heck was her name? That little girl that told us about how the world's going to fall apart pretty soon.
That's right.
So you're going to share a little bit about leadership, and I've got your website thing on here. It's LTC. That stands for Lieutenant Commander?
Lieutenant Colonel.
Colonel, that's it. See, I was never in the military, so I don't know. Lieutenant Colonel, and then you got a very interesting name. It's OAKLAND?
Yes.
I've never heard that.
As far as I know, there's only 3 of us with the first name OAKLAND. Me, my son, and my grandson.
Okay, keeping in the family.
Yeah.
McCulloch. So that's the website. I did some capitalization here so people could kind of figure out what it is, but it's LTC Oak McCulloch, and that's how they can find you. Correcto.
That's right.
Perfect. So what got you? What made you decide to be in the service? Did you decide? Did you get like recruited, or how did that happen?
No, really, I didn't. You know, I get asked that question all the time. Why did I go in and why did I stay in for 23 years? And, you know, my answer is always the same because it's the truth. I come from a family, you know, a poor, not dirt poor, but a poor family when I was young. And my father never finished the 8th grade. My mom never finished the 10th grade. They eventually got their GED, but school-wise, they never finished those grades. And yet, I got to make all kinds of decisions. I got to do things that nowhere else in the world would somebody who comes from my background would have gotten to do. And I always wanted to make sure that other young men and women, my kids, your kids, somebody else's kids, had those same opportunities and could make those same choices growing up.
Right. So the freedom thing.
That's right.
That's what I think a lot of people don't realize. I go onto that goofy TikTok platform when you see some of these kids that want to turn this into like a socialist or a communist country, thinking that that's the way to do it. And They don't understand what freedom feels like.
Yeah, they've never been to a place like that. I've been in 45 countries on 5 continents. I can tell you, even with all our problems, and we have plenty, this is still the greatest country in the world.
Yeah, just the concept of being free. And some people think, oh, you're not really free. Well, you're freer than some of the places I've seen.
Freer than many places, that's right.
Yeah. So you're getting into the speaker circuit and you're talking about leadership.
Right. Servant leadership is what I really talk about.
Servant leadership. Because like I said on the intro there, that some people think that leader is like, you know, I'm the leader and you're the follower. And it's not, isn't it more of a persuasion?
There are still plenty of leaders out there who are those authoritarian, micromanaging, do it exactly as I tell you. They're not very good, and none of us want to work for that person. We've all worked for that person. But I think, you know, the best leaders in my life, the ones who have influenced me, were all servant leaders. And they did believe that it was more about influence than it was about directing people exactly what to do. And I had a boss one time who said to me, and he retired a 3-star general, and he told me one time, Oak, leadership is on a scale. And on this end of the scale, you got that authoritarian, micromanaging, do it as I tell you guy that's leading, and nobody wants to work for that guy. And they stifle all creativity. And on this end of the scale, you've got Attila the Hun in chaos. controlled chaos, but chaos. And you want to be as far down that road toward chaos as you can get. He said a couple things, a couple reasons why. Number one, that's where creativity happens. That's where you're using other people's skills, other people's knowledge, other people's abilities, not just your own. He said, and the other thing is it builds trust. You're trusting people to accomplish something that you've asked them to do, because nobody likes to be micromanaged. You know,
Right.
we've been micromanaged and nobody likes it. It's horrible. So train them, give them the resources, give them the authority, and then get out of their way.
So when you do your presentations, hit the stage, is there anything that's different about it? Because there are other, what's it, John Maxwell, you know that guy?
Yeah, I do know him.
He talks
Well, I
about
know of him. I don't know him.
he talks about leadership. He's got
Yeah.
his way of doing it. Is there something that's unique about the way that you do it? I suppose part of it is from coming from the military. It's a different point of view.
Yeah, and that's just what it is. I mean, most of the leadership speakers out there will talk about pretty much the same things. They may have a different spin on it. They tell different stories from their life experience, and that's really what I do. Is, you know, I don't talk about theory at all. I don't even mention that word, because I don't. You can have all the theory. You can know all the theory in the world and still be a horrible leader. That doesn't make you a leader. I tell people these are the things leaders need to be able to do, and here's a story that shows you why it's important, because that's what people remember. They remember stories. They don't remember words, you know, a principle or a theory. They remember stories. That's what I use.
Hmm. So I was looking at your website, and it was interesting because when I got on it, it's very, very clean and simple. But as soon as I saw it and I saw your pictures and stuff, there was an immediate respect. Just the way that you carried yourself on there.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Is that part of leadership? I mean,
It is. Absolutely. I tell you, you know, I've been involved in Army ROTC for about 15 years. I just retired from recruiting for Army ROTC at one of the universities down here. And so I had a lot to do with young men and women who wanted to be leaders. And I always told them a huge part of leadership is how you lead, how you set the example, how you walk, how you talk, how you interact with people. That's because people are watching you all the time. If you don't believe that, you're naive, because the people you have the privilege to lead are watching you all the time. And so you have to set that example for them. And that's a moral, ethical, lawful, all those things you have to set the example for. And I used to tell people one of my most important jobs as a leader was to make every single person that I led want to be like me every day.
well, you know, in business, they've always got that the know, like, and trust factor.
Right.
And
And
I
trust
agree
is
with
huge.
that. And I added on to the end, it's know, like, trust, and respect.
That's right.
'Cause they'll buy if you trust, and then they respect what's going on too. Because
Yeah.
you know, I like some people, but sometimes I don't have really respect for them. They're kind of fun, but
Yeah.
don't know if
Would I
that's-
do business with them? Maybe not.
yeah, because there might be a little something there. So
Yeah. And I talk about trust in my talk as well. I think trust is huge. Without it, the leader-led relationship doesn't work. I don't care how good a leader you are. If people don't trust you, they're not going to follow you. They may do what you tell them to do because you're the boss. And there is a difference between a boss and a leader. But when I talk about trust, I talk about 360-degree trust, because it's not only the person you're leading has to trust you, but you have to trust them. Then everybody on the team has to trust each other.
Yeah.
That they're going to do what they're supposed to do and do it right. And then, like you just said, if you're talking about the business world, now the person you're trying to do business with has to trust you, and you have to trust them. So it's 360-degree trust. It's not just one way.
Yeah, there's a speaker up here in Minneapolis that started out as a magician, and now he speaks on trust. And his whole thing is, his name is David Horshauger.
Okay.
And he's got a book called The Trust Edge.
Yeah.
That's what he speaks about is trust. And you've got a book too. I think I saw that on your website. Do you have a book?
Yes, I do. It's Your Leadership Legacy: Becoming the Leader You Were Meant to Be.
Okay. Do you think that everybody's like a leader?
You know, I get asked all the time, are leaders born or are they made? And I think it's a combination. And if you don't believe me, go out and watch a bunch of 5-year-olds on the playground. There's somebody in charge there. There's somebody that everybody's following.
Okay, yeah.
Nobody made that little kid, the leader, but he's out there and people are following him. And, so I think there are people who are born with some traits that help them develop into better leaders, but they certainly have some leadership traits. But I think, having worked the last 15 years of my life in ROTC, watching young men and women come into the program, and 4 years later, commissioning as a second lieutenant and being an officer in the Army, watching them go through the process that we take them through, we have certainly turned people that had questionable leadership skills into leaders after 4 years. So it can be done.
Well, courage is a factor, someone that's willing to go through the fire before you do. Have you ever seen that video of the...
And not just the physical courage, but personal courage to stand up and do what's right. I think that's just as important as the physical courage.
Yeah, a mixture of it, physical and emotional and all that. Have you ever seen that video of the shirtless guy?
No, I haven't.
It's a guy at an outdoor concert, and he had the guts to get out there and dance. And he didn't have a shirt on, and he's just doing his dance thing. All of a sudden, someone else joins him, and there's somebody else dancing.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, there's somebody else that joins him, and pretty soon, everybody's dancing around this guy.
It's amazing. I mean, I tell people all the time, you don't have to have a title to be a leader. You can lead lots of different things without a title, without a position, because people will follow you if you have those characteristics, if you do the right thing, if you are charismatic, if you lead by example, all those things, people will follow.
By example, yeah. So when you do your thing, you do your speaking and stuff. Do you have a specific niche that you're looking to that you speak for? Is it mostly corporate stuff, or is it like nonprofit groups, or?
It's funny because I thought when I started that I would be mainly talking to young men and women at universities and those kinds of things. And I do those. I think I've been to 5 universities and taught and have spoken there. But it's been a wide variety, a lot of first responder, policemen, firemen, EMT associations and conferences. I've done healthcare risk management. I've done a fiduciary HR conference. I've done several companies, everything from startups to multi-million-dollar company leadership, junior and middle and senior leadership conferences. So it's been a wide variety, and I think that part of that, the reason I like that is because one of my messages, and I believe it, is that leadership is leadership. It doesn't matter where you learned it. It doesn't matter where you practiced it. If you can lead people, because that's what leadership is about, people. If you can lead people, you can lead any organization, and every organization, I don't care what profession, needs good leadership.
Well, that was kind of what I was going to ask you. If you're a national speaker, or is it a global thing? Can you be a leader to people in Thailand?
Yeah, well, I've spoken in England, and I've been on, I think you're now the 151st show that I've been on. And I've been in 17 different countries: Vietnam, India, Australia, New Zealand, Romania, South Africa, all over the place.
Yeah, and I guess that's part of it too, is carrying yourself the way you carry yourself. It doesn't matter what country you're in. It's still the same energy. It still feels that way. So the person would following the leader.
Yeah. Well, I get told all the time, as soon as they hear me talk or see me talk at a conference, we can see the passion. And it really is. This is my passion at this point, is to pass on the knowledge and the lessons I've learned as a leader, because that's what leaders do. Leaders produce the next generation of leaders. That is your legacy. If legacy has two parts to it. If you think legacy is just what you did in your organization, that does matter, because in the real world, results do matter. Maybe not in fantasy land, but in the real world, it does. But that's a very small part, because when you leave and the next person comes in as the leader, they're going to change things, and there goes your legacy. So your real legacy, the majority of your legacy, is based on the leaders that you help produce that are going to influence not only that organization, but any organization they go to for the next 15, 20, 30 years.
So when you go to and do like a talk at like a conference or something, is it specific to what I'm trying to get across here? Say you got a company and they have like upper management. You speak at that company's thing to help those upper management people be in a leadership role? Is that?
Yeah, sometimes that's what it is. Sometimes it's just leadership development. What are the things that a good leader does? But I have had companies who just had me talk to their senior leadership to kind of explain what servant leadership is about and why it's important, and some key points that they need, that all leaders need to do, but certainly senior leaders, professional development, not just for themselves. That's still important. I don't care how high up you get, you still got to help continue to develop yourself. But the importance of doing it for your team, the people who just started in your organization, they need to have a professional development program as well.
Yeah, I did another interview earlier this morning, and her thing was about mindset shift.
Yes.
And that's what she did, is went into companies for their management people. So they would use a different language to be able to communicate what they're doing, because it's a different paradigm. They're looking at something from a different mindset. And that's probably similar if you got a company where I'm going to be the leader. No, I'm going to be the leader. I'm climbing the ladder. I want to be on top. That's not really being a servant.
Yeah.
Well,
and believe me, I'm a firm believer in competition. I was an athlete all my life, and I wanted to win. I don't care if I'm playing old maid with my 9-year-old granddaughter. I want to win. So I understand competition, but I also understand teamwork, because most of the sports I played was a team. And, go back to Vince Lombardi, guy up in your neck of the woods up there. Probably the greatest football coach that ever coached. And he had a saying that said, a team is not a group of people who play together. A team is a group of people who trust each other. So everybody wants to be the best. You want to be the best person on your team, the superstar. If you don't, I don't want you on my team. But you got to be able to put your ego aside and play for the team, not just yourself.
Right.
And I think that's something that I try to get across when I do my talks, is that we all have egos, and we want people to have an ego. That's what drives us to be the best, to be good at what we do. But we also have to understand when to put that ego aside for the betterment of the team.
Mm-hmm. So for the future, where are you looking to do your presentations?
Yeah, so I booked. I already have a few booked for next year. I'm going to be talking to the Georgia Association of Police Chiefs in Columbus, Georgia, in January. I'm going to be talking to a company or an organization association conference in Columbus, Ohio, in February. And then I've got the Washington State Fire Chiefs Association. I've got a law enforcement training association in Wisconsin. Got a couple other virtual ones that I'm going to do. But I've got 6 booked right now for next year, and looking to book a few more.
Is that kind of the niche that you're looking to go, is into the first responder service?
I love talking to first responders, but I tell people, look, I'll talk to any profession, because again, all professions need good leadership. And I think that my message goes across the board. It doesn't matter what profession you are. The things I talk about, you can use in any profession.
Okay, and then I'm going to throw your website up here again, and I'm wondering, is there anything on your website that someone would maybe be able to download and get to know who you are? You got like a little how to be a leader cheat sheet or anything like that they can?
I that's going up on it. I actually have a little card, almost like a credit card, with front and back, 10 things that leaders need to do. Okay. And that's going to go up on there soon. But it's got my email, it's got my cell phone number, it's got a link to all my different social media. So if somebody wants to get in touch with me, there's plenty of ways to figure out how to get in touch with me.
And your book is available there.
It is. You can go there, click on the book sales, and it'll take you directly to the Amazon site where the book is for sale.
I was just going to gamble, and I was going to say, is it on Amazon?
Yeah, and it's available hardcover, paperback, ebook, and Audible. And I did the reading of the Audible book. The only other voice on there is my wife. She read the foreword and about the author. So, but everything else is me.
There you go, teamwork right there.
That's right.
Well, Oakland, I'm going to put you in the green room and let you partake in some of those digital hors d'oeuvres again, and sign this off. But is there any last message you might want to shout out?
Yeah, the one thing I always tell leaders is this, and I believe it, and it's part of my faith, and it's part of my what I've done as a leader. I tell every leader, your goal should be to go out every day, find one person, and make a positive difference in their life. As a leader, you're going to make a difference in people's lives every day, guaranteed. Why not make a conscious decision to make a positive difference in somebody's life? Imagine how much better our life, our family life, our neighborhood, our community, our city, our state, our country, the world would be if everybody found one person and made a positive difference in their life.
It would happen fast. It would probably take a week.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. Well, I'm going to pop you in the other room and sign this off. If you want to stick around back there, I'll come and knock on the door and say hello, and we can chat a little bit if you got time.
Thanks for having me on the show, Brad.
Thank you, sir. Well, there you go. The man, his name is Oakland. And I can put his website up here right there, LTC. Oakland, it's OAKLAND.com. So take a screenshot of this right here and you can tune in. Other than that, I'm going to sign this off. I appreciate you tuning in. And go ahead and use the little share button and share the love. That's what he just got done saying. Make a good impact on everybody. So peace, love, and happiness. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be good, be kind, be nice. Did I say be nice? Be nice. Okay, bye.